Hey y'all, I'm Holly Moore, your host, and welcome to the TCS podcast, where our mission is to educate and inspire and empower the residential cleaning industry. As a co-owner of the cleaning software and a proud owner of the cleaning service for the past 17 years, I'm here to share expert insights, stories, and strategies to help you take your cleaning business to the next level. We'll be bringing on experts, fellow industry leaders to share their experience and tips. Whether you are just starting out or looking to grow, this podcast is for you. Let's dive into the next episode. Here we go, guys. Episode 8. It is Valentine's Day, not today, but in a couple days, so don't freak out if you forgot to get your significant other something. It is not here yet, but it is Friday. Am I correct?
It's Friday,
yes.
Right?
All right. So you've got your pre-warning. Make sure you get your gift and make your significant other feel special. And at the same time, we are talking about employee culture today, and it fits so in with Valentine's Day and making people feel appreciated. So I have two very special guests. I'm Holly Moore, the co-founder and co-owner of the cleaning software. We also own a cleaning service for the past 17 years. And I have Paul Freed here with us from Made in Hoboken in New Jersey. He has I find him unique because he is in such a unique urban area where he actually has vehicles, but they do kind of more of a unique commuting experience than we're used to, especially in Texas and Florida when we're spread out a little bit longer or further. Then we have Heather Canning with One Organized Mom in the beaches of Florida. And she has an amazing culture. I've visited Paul's office. I can't wait to visit Heather's office. Before we get started, I would say I highly recommend everybody go to visit other people's office. If you're out of town, make a 20-minute stop to go by. And I got so many ideas for Paul's office as far as this topic is concerned. So I am here to educate and empower the residential cleaning service. And I'm going to be quiet and let you guys introduce yourself. Paul, you go right ahead and introduce yourself. How many years? Where are you at? How many locations? Give me all the scoop. And then you must tell me, what is your favorite thing about Valentine's Day?
Oh, wow. That's a tough one. So my name is Paul Freed. I'm the owner of Made in Hoboken. We have a couple of different brands that kind of operate under one umbrella called Best Clean. The domain is bestclean.com. We are in Hoboken, New Jersey, which is a kind of mile square city on the Hudson River. Historically a bedroom community for Manhattan, very densely populated urban market. And we're in business 13 years. We have roughly 40 employees, and we have a good time with it.
Awesome. And your Valentine's?
Wow. My favorite part of Valentine's Day, or my favorite?
Come on, you got some lovey-dovey in you. I feel it.
I do. I have some lovey-dovey in me. I am a very sentimental guy. All right.
Very.
And listen, I love the love. I love the love of Valentine's Day, and love giving and love receiving.
Nice. Heather, your turn.
I'm just crying because I was so touched by everything that you said, Paul. I can't stop. My name is Heather Canning, and I own a company called One Organized Mom, and we are in Jupiter, Florida. I've had my business. It was 15 years last month, and I totally forgot we didn't even celebrate it. I absolutely love what I do. I started the business from nothing. We were 30 days away from being evicted, and I love to clean. So I said, okay, let's go clean. And I started cleaning, and I just didn't stop. And I never thought that I would be able to grow it into what it is today. It's absolutely insane, right? That we can take nothing from nothing, right? And do this. We have about 25 employees. We work mostly, we have a little bit of a hybrid. We do solos, teams of 2 and 3 sometimes, but we all know the more people you have on a team, less money, less profit you're able to make. So we're primarily teams of 2. My favorite Valentine's Day thing is I actually hate Valentine's Day. It's such a market for having to mark up flowers and spend more money, right? But my husband and I have been together for about 30 years, and he loves every Valentine's Day. He likes to say happy VD. So for me, that's my favorite part of Valentine's Day is listening to him tell everybody all day long, happy VD.
That's awesome. I'm also a very practical person. Sorry, Fossey, that's my husband. I'm like, isn't every day supposed to be Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's just an economy booster for chocolates, and that a candy maker created Valentine's Day a long time ago. But we do have some trivia at the end of this podcast that will give us a little bit more insight into Valentine's Day. So stay tuned till the end. Right now, we want to dive into our topic of employee retention or employee culture, which is directly related to employee retention. So we want to talk about strategies to motivate your team and improve retention, to create a work environment where people actually want to come to work. And these two on the podcast today have some amazing insight, and I want to pick your brain about what you do in your company. So this is one of the first podcasts where I've had that all of us have been in teams. Usually it's a couple of solo companies in here with us. So I will try to, if solo companies are listening, please ask us some questions that may not be addressed in this because we all do have teams. So Paul, the first thing you said about your employee culture is your biggest thing is that you advocate for your employees. Tell me what that means, like all the ways you advocate for them and what that does for your company.
So when I talk about advocating for my employees, it's kind of twofold, right? It's one, advocating for them with regard to a customer, right? And listen, we've had situations in the past where customers have called with accusations, and depending on how that accusation is delivered, right, will really kind of determine what or how we respond, right? And I've responded in the past with, Mr. Customer, I don't know you, but I know my employees, and the employees that were in your home have been working for us for over 10 years. I know them very well. So, your accusation is false, right? So, we can do that. One of the things that I do annually with my employees, right? And, I explain to them that, listen, in New Jersey, October 15th, your landlords must turn on your heat, right? If your landlords don't turn on your heat, let me know and I'll call them and we'll have a conversation. I've never had any issues with heat, but I did have an employee come to me one time to tell me that she's been on her landlord for 2 years to make repairs and he refuses to make the repairs. I said, well, give me your landlord's name and, the address that you send your rent check to. So she did. I contacted this guy, called him up. I said, my name is Paul Freed. I'm calling on behalf of Elizabeth Lucero. She lives in one of your rental units at boom, boom, boom. So the guy's first response was, are you an attorney? Mm-hmm. I said, no. He said, well, why should I talk to you? I said, well, because if you don't, I said, I'm going to have 45 people protesting outside your house in Livingston, New Jersey on Saturday morning to let all your neighbors know what a scumbag you are. And this guy just completely like, what can I do for you? And within 2 weeks, of course, all of the repairs were taken care of, right? So I do these things, and my employees know that I'll do these things. We have keyless access to the office, right? And I've let everybody know, look, this office is your office as well, right? You're welcome here anytime. And as a matter of fact, they're probably there right now playing bingo and drinking a couple of beers because that's what they like to do sometimes after work. But and I let them know, listen, if you have any issues at home, you need to get away, you need to get out, domestic violence, whatever it might be, just know you can always come here. Right. And they know that, they feel it, and they love that. Listen, we have, kind of going back to, employee and customer relations or issues. we have fired customers over employees, right? Listen, if there's situations where customers are not treating our staff properly, we'll let them go, and the staff knows that. Heather, did you
I have a question. Paul, how many of your people speak English?
So our staff is primarily Hispanic, and they all understand English and they all speak English.
Oh, they do. Okay.
They do. They for a lot of them, English is not their first language, so they don't have the confidence to speak it. So and it's interesting because this was another thing that we ran into from day one, right? When I started to do my due diligence to understand a little bit more about this industry that I was about to embark in, or embark on, one of the biggest complaints people had in our area with regard to cleaning services was the staff doesn't speak English. We can't communicate with them. And I've talked about this a lot with a lot of cleaning business owners, and I believe that it is more important to train your customer than it is to train your employee, right? And we have trained our customers to know this, okay? We have given you specifications for the work that we're going to perform. That is exactly what our staff is trained to do, okay? You have no reason to talk to our staff, right? The only reason, at least what my experience has told me, is that the only reason that people want to talk to my staff is to try to squeeze some additional work out of them.
Yep.
Right. And when we let them know, you have a question, you have an issue or concern, call the office. There is always somebody picking up the phone. They will answer your question, solve your problem. You don't have to talk to the cleaners. If you talk to the cleaners, you're going to hold them up. If you're going to hold them up, it's going to take us more time. If it takes us more time, we have to raise your prices. Please don't talk to the staff. And our customers are well aware of this, and they call the office if there's a problem.
I have a majority of Spanish speakers too. It's the same thing. I'm like, no. We need to be in the middle of this conversation. So the same thing. And honestly, I think our customers are so used to it that they're like, when you do send an English speaker, they're like, can you please send a Spanish speaker because they talk too much. Like, I don't want them in my house. And I'm like, wow, that was the opposite of what I thought. But
great.
When I first started the company, when I started hiring people, like people did not want Spanish speakers in the house either because they couldn't communicate with them. And I'm gonna tell you, Paul, we met, I don't know how many years ago, and I really have adapted that same thing because I believe that the people didn't want the Spanish people because they wanted to get more out of them, the things that we don't do. And you're right, Holly, we've gotten the same thing too, because we have a lot of, we have about 5 or 6 people that don't speak any English, and they're requesting those people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it's kind of like, I think I was having this conversation with Libby not too long ago, and the culture of you taking care of them, that culture really actually gets that. They want to be protected and supported even more than any other culture out there. So it's something to keep your mind open to. I really think that people are limiting their growth by the English speaking like requirement, because if anybody has complications with my customers have an objection, I'm like, look, the first thing I look for is quality. Are they a good cleaner? Second thing I look for, are they dependable? Are they trustworthy? Are they all these great qualities that you're listing? And then I'm like, 5 or 6 down the road, do they speak English? Who cares? If they have the first 4 or 5, we're getting the job done, and that's what matters. And like Paul says, the communication is there in the office. So
it has been my experience with my staff that people have taken advantage of them in the past as employees. They don't get paid overtime. They're paid under the table. They're not paid correctly for whatever. So if you're running a legitimate business and you're not taking advantage of your people, I think that they will respect you even at a higher level because of just the simple things, the regular things, and how they should have been treated. We tried offering English classes to our Spanish speakers. We were going to pay to to have somebody come in here. You had to do you had to come in on your own time. It was a Saturday, but nobody wanted to do it. And we get them in. People will still hire people, but we're like, listen, you need to speak English here. It's not just going to better you here, but it's going to better you anywhere in your life, because somebody is going to continue to take advantage of you, and it's sad.
Right. I've had the same thing. You Deserve, which was Kristen, said there is no people in Cape that speak English. It's rare to find. I asked the customers to let me know what they need besides the regular cleaning and what we need to do beforehand, because they won't be able to communicate with them. Perfect example. I feel you. So yeah. I have a question. You mentioned something to me earlier, Heather. You said, with your employee culture, rewards versus incentives, what are the differences? Explain that to us. And how do you offer rewards and incentives?
Can I just go back to the Spanish for one more time?
Yeah, no problem.
I just purchased the earbuds, and I know everybody's seen them all over social media. I bought.
Did you try them?
I haven't got them in yet, so I'm so excited. I cannot wait to try them. Obviously, it's only going to work for in here. It's not going to work for the clients, but I'm very excited to be able to have a conversation with somebody that I don't have to rely on a translator, because if I rely on a human translator and they don't translate everything, like, I feel like things get lost, as we all know, in translation. Yeah.
Yeah, let me know how they work.
Yeah, right.
Hablar más español es bueno para the employees.
I tried Duolingo. I think I lasted about 2 weeks and I failed miserably, so I just gave up. But
I've been talking to my 7th grade son. I was like, you don't understand. Spanish is the easiest language to learn. English is the hardest. I was like, we can actually even adapt and overcome. And when they see us, like, I just wreck that sentence in Spanish. But I do it every time. I try my hardest. I'll get on Google Translate and actually read it in my Spanish thing themselves. They think it's funny and cute, and they respect the idea that I'm trying. But also, there's a little button on Google Translate where you talk into it, and then it talks back to them in Spanish. So you can do all of that with your phone.
It also depends too on the dialect, right? Because we do have somebody from Cuba, and nothing translates like right here at all. But my girl in the office, she is also Cuban, so she's able to translate. I will say, though, I learned very early on that people understand the language. They just want to speak it, because we laugh at them. And if you think about it, we do. Sorry, I have to get rid of this. We laugh at them, right? It's like, because it sounds funny to us. It's not necessarily that we're laughing at them. It's just because it sounds funny. So, like, really think about that. If you are working with somebody who is bilingual, be very cognizant that you don't laugh or giggle because it sounds funny, because it makes them not want to do it the next time.
Awesome. You have to let us know how that AirPod I've seen it, so I want to know how that goes. But supposedly it's like you put it in their ear and it translates the English for them in Spanish. So I want to know how that goes. I've been thinking about purchasing.
But I think each person has to have the headset, though. Like, each person has to have the earbud. I do believe, because if you're, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. We'll see. I only ordered 3, which doesn't make any sense. I should have ordered 4, but I was cheap.
It's fine. So, in rewards versus incentives.
Okay, so if anybody on this call even knows me, like, I cannot read a book to save my life. They have me for the first 4 chapters, and after that, my ADD, ADHD, whatever kicks in, and I just cannot comprehend and continue reading the book, except for this book. This book, I absolutely love this book, and this is all about rewards and incentives. So it's Daniel Pink Drive. I did read this a few years ago. I probably should read it again. But it just talks about, like, how to reward and incentivize people, right? Incentivizing them is getting them, like, the carrot at the end of the stick, right? And then a reward is kind of like giving them the thing after the fact when they didn't realize that they were getting it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of do both here. And for me and for my company, long incentives and or rewards typically don't work. Like, they kind of peter out after 2 or 3 months. Obviously, depending on, like, there are certain things that we do all the time. Like, if you get mentioned in a social media review, you get an hour PTO or $15 cash. We carry that on all the time. But just little things. Currently, we are doing We do scorecards, a survey after every cleaning, and they're rated 1 through 4. So anybody who gets a 4, you get 2 tickets. And then if you get a 3, because 3 is still good, it's just not, spectacular, then you get 1 ticket. At the end of the month, then we have like a raffle, and you can put all your tickets and whatever prizes you want to win. And then we pick one name per prize. We did this last year for a couple of months, and our scorecards went really like high up, right? It's because they're asking for them, and that's the whole point. Like, we want them to ask for the surveys. We want them to get in the habit of the clients getting in the habit to give us that feedback, whether it's positive or negative. So then we saw the responses, like the response percentage, go up much higher as well. And are the girls double checking their work on those months that we're offering, the chance to win, a day off with pay? Maybe.
Nice.
Maybe. So for me, that's more of an incentive, right? Rewards are, I love to feed people. I love to make food for people. It's just like who I am. If you follow me on Facebook, like, I make sourdough bread. Well, now I started giving sourdough bread to my clients because I have so much of it. But that's just like my love language, is to feed people. I know it's not really a love language, but it's mine.
That was okay. Love
Yeah.
language.
So I love to bring in food. So we've always like made breakfast for the staff, but it's easy for me, right? Because my staff comes in every day that we're able to do that. We'll have potlucks on certain holidays. This Christmas, I'm so happy to say, I totally stole this idea from Paul, so I cannot take credit for it, but we had a big party. And not only do we have a big party, but we did do it after the holiday. But we had big gifts, and like the staff was like so like jazzed up to do that, like big screen TVs and iPads, and I don't even know what else we gave away, Nintendo Switch, and just crazy stuff. Like, they didn't know any of that was coming, so that was really cool for us to be able to do something so big for them.
I think one of the great things for us is the fact that we do gather as a company every day. Right.
Yeah.
Because again, the way we're set up, right? We have drivers that just shuttle teams of cleaners around. Again, we work in an urban market. It's pretty heavily populated. We don't travel more than 2 miles from our office. So the drivers don't clean, cleaners don't drive. So we have minivans responsible for a couple of teams of cleaners. They're moving them around constantly all day long. But everybody meets in the office in the morning, and we have a morning meeting every day, and it's great. And the vibe in the office is awesome. Even if there's something negative to talk about, we'll always end on a positive note. And one of the things that we did, again, staff is primarily Hispanic. I bought a domino set. Right. So, you just drop the domino set on the table, and then all of a sudden, like, people started playing dominoes in the morning. Right. Now we have a domino table. Right. And every morning there's 4 people playing dominoes, and they're playing for money, and there's a lot of energy. And even the people that aren't playing dominoes are kind of watching the game or listening to what's happening at the game. And it just sets this level of energy for the day. It's awesome. A $7 domino set. And it just created such a cool vibe every morning. But we're also about the food. We do a lot of pancake breakfasts. We do a lot of barbecues. Every year we have an annual guacamole contest, and it's a kind of a Chopped-esque event. So we'll bring in some outside judges and set up the dais, and they have to present. And it's based on presentation and taste. And the winner gets a couple $100, and it's a ton of fun. One of the things that we were doing, as we approach like a denomination of 100 reviews, I think we started at like the 300 Google reviews. So whatever team got the 300th Google review got $300, and we went to 400 for 400. We went to 500 for 500. Went to 600 for 600. Went to 700 for 700, and now Google took 110 of our reviews away. So now we're back down, but we keep going, and that's been great because again, it just sets some energy, and the staff gets fully engaged, and they're pushing for these reviews. So that's a ton of fun. one of the other things I'll share this story. And I tell the staff all the time, like everybody here answers to somebody, right? Listen, the cleaning tech would answer to the team lead will answer to the driver will answer to, the supervisor will answer to manager will answer to me, I answer to the customer, right? But everybody has to answer to somebody. So everybody plays a role here, right? And, we had a situation in a house last week where, unbeknownst to me, the cleaning techs the team was using an extension cord, right? And they were using a household extension cord on the vacuum cleaner. Well, all of a sudden they look and there's smoke blowing up from the receptacle, right? And I mean, it was pretty bad. The customer called, sent pictures, was like freaking out. So, I immediately went down to talk to the guy and, I accepted full responsibility and said, hey, my bad, we'll take care of this, whatever it is. So, we'll replace the receptacle, paint up a little bit. But, my staff thought that they were going to get in trouble for this.
Mm.
So at the morning meeting the following day, what I did was I handed the team a fire extinguisher, told them to put that in their bucket. So, that added a little levity, so everybody was okay. But I apologized to the staff because that was on me, right? Like I should have told them at some point, right? Listen, look, and not to get too technical, but vacuum cords are typically about a 16 gauge wire. Household extension cords are a 12 gauge wire, which is right. But anyway, it's not going to. It's not going to hold out over a longer period of time, right? So, you can't use it. So, of course, I bought heavy-duty extension cords for them. If they need them, they have them. Some 15-footers, so they're not too long and too big. But I said, look, you're not in trouble. I should apologize to you. It was my fault. I should make sure that you people know this stuff. So, kind of exercising that humility to the staff, right? Like they appreciate that. Like I'll take my lumps too.
Paul, I think what's so unique about you, and I don't think a lot of owners do it, myself included, like they just know that you have their backs no matter what, and you're right there with them, and I think that's so important.
Yeah,
Absolutely. You have their back. You believe in them. You're their protector. And that's just, I mean, I'm not trying to compare our employees to a child by any means because they're not children. They're grown-ups and they deserve to be respected as a human, whether they make $10 an hour or $2 million a year. In my philosophy, and I know Paul's philosophy, everybody's treated the same. And when you actually exemplify that as a leader and you admit your own faults, that is one of the, out of the cleaning software, I have tons of owners all the way around that the ones who do that have great employees, great following, because they look at them as a leader because they're like, oh, they're not perfect either. And they've shown that to me. And that's actually really important to do. And there is a other balance where I've seen some owners that take too much fault and let their employees just trample over them. So it sounds like fluffy rainbows and things when you're like, I got their back, they know I'm you. But you also have to be that like stern leader of, but you have to be fair to me and you have to reciprocate respect for me. And so I think it's like this both ways. And as long as you can maintain that like attitude that Paul just naturally has, that's why I totally wanted him on here. Cause I'm like, I'll go where Paul goes. He's got my back. Like he's going to make me pancakes. And if I need help doing anything, he's going to help me. And that's kind of the vibe. And then you also said fun, like having a fun vibe where people can just be themselves and be comfortable and protected. Yeah. And I think you really throw that off.
We've had, and look, throughout the year, we do, we do an annual barbecue. So we bring in a guy with a barbecue pit and we've got, the cornhole going and, and it was so funny because they were like, one year we did it. And I said, and I think it was, I was offering up $500 for anybody that could get 5, ringers in a row, right? And just
Mhm.
figure like nobody's going to do it. It'll just be fun.
Mhm.
And of course, one of our girls did it.
I was about to say, come to Texas and play cornhole. I got you.
Yeah, but listen, I've my staff has brought me to tears on a number of occasions. And it's really, it's incredibly humbling. Remember one year, my girlfriend was bringing me out to dinner for my birthday, and I had no reason to believe it was nothing but a birthday dinner. And we went to this restaurant. We go upstairs. I turn the corner, and there's my entire staff, right? And I'm just blown away, right? And they got me this leather jacket. They bought me this. They bought me a David Yurman ID bracelet. It was like, and
I need to step on my game.
I was just like, I was blown away. And I tell them, like, please, I don't want you spending your money on me. Like, don't. But every year they do it. They bought me a pair. They bought me new skis. They bought me. It's like, and every year on my birthday, and it was funny because this past year there was a party, and they do the office up, right? So they'll they put the balloons up. And they've got all kinds of decorations and everything else. So it was pink, and it was happy birthday, and it was for one of our cleaners. It was her birthday, and then like the next week I come in, it's like another birthday, but it was blue, and it didn't even dawn on me, because I'm the only guy there, and I'm like, so I got there a little early that morning, but I was like, another birthday. I'm like, whose birthday is it? And they're all looking at each other, and they're like, it's blue. I'm like, yeah, but who? I'm like, oh, and of course they brought out the cakes and started singing, and and it's just great, and it really is, and I say it a lot. It's like a family. It is like a family. But getting back to your point, Holly, and I share this with the staff, and I say to them, please don't make me be the kind of boss I don't want to be. Right. And I use that line a lot, and they know that. Listen, if somebody needs to get fired, somebody's going to get fired, right? Like, they know that. But it's been great. I really didn't expect to be in the cleaning business this long, right? Like my goal was, I'm just going to build this thing as big as I can, as quick as I can, sell it for as much as I can, and off to the next thing, because that's just what I do.
Me too.
And but this. The business has created, listen, it's created a terrific revenue stream. And, I share this with people. It's, the business model is fabulous, right? It's like, this is like, I say it's even better than owning rental properties, because here you get money every day. Apartments, you got to wait a month. But, it's a beautiful model. And, we've created, just a great environment.
I think a lot of us went into it probably out of, like, I hate to use the word desperation, but out of necessity, out of need, and without a lot of cash. And because you don't need a lot, you don't need a lot of money to start a cleaning company. But, the recurring, like, I never ever looked at it from that angle before, right? And the recurring aspect of it is so huge. Like, you got to concentrate on keeping your recurring, your weekly, your biweekly clients happy. And the only way to do that, in my opinion, is to keep your staff happy. I do not think the client's always right. Like, I've gone through office people and managers, and I'm like, listen, we do not live by those rules. The client is not always right, because they're just not. And I'm not going to, lie to them to save face. And I'll tell every client that I have, that I put my staff's needs before theirs. Because if my employees are happy, they're going to turn around and want to make our clients happy.
Yeah, no, indeed. Yep. Indeed. Yep. And listen, we all know the quote from Richard Branson, right? When somebody asked him, what's more important to you, your customers or your employees? And he, hands down, my employees.
Definitely.
Without them, we have nothing.
And he said, if I take care of my employees will take care of my customers. Right.
Mhm.
And it's so true. It's so true.
So I see a lot of that we were talking about this before we went on the air. I don't work in my cleaning service. I have general managers and CEOs and DOOs, and they're doing all the things for me. But I've taught them the culture. Like Gloria was just on here, like, can't wait till our Valentine's party this Friday that they're throwing. She's my GM of Houston. She is creating that culture. Now, I don't ever just absentee take off and like leave. Like, I always make it a point, if there's only one thing I do in my company still, like I don't do the cash flows, I don't do the schedule, I don't do any of that. The one thing as an absentee owner, mob free, management free, all of that, I will go back for Christmas parties, employees, to let the people know they're not at the bottom, they're at the top. The cleaners are at the top. And I think a lot of people think opposite. There are infantry. They are the ones out there doing the best. So if you're going to spend any time with anything and do minimal time in your cleaning service, do it with your frontline staff and do it with them, because that's what matters. And dude, when the owner shows up and are like, I appreciate you, that makes a huge difference. And I think a lot of us that are absentee out will come back in and analyze and crunch numbers rather than doing what really means the most and being with your frontline staff. So I know that hits me harder than anything. I try to get there as much as I can with them. Sorry, managers. I know y'all get me on numbers meetings, but it's important to spend the time with those girls.
Listen, they need to know. They need to know that they mean something to you as the owner. They need to know that they matter to the company.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, all of those things are so important to get you need their buy-in.
Yes.
You need them to invest.
Yeah. Your number one resource.
I'll share this with you. And, I don't know, a little different, I think, than a lot of cleaning business owners, but, I don't use my staff to clean my home. Right. And, I don't do that for a couple of reasons, but, primarily, my staff doesn't live like I live. Right. And I'm not claiming that I live in a lap of luxury, but I know that I probably live better than most of my staff. And I choose not to rub that in their face. And I think that it's almost human nature, right? That, people are going to go to the boss's home and there's going to be some animosity, right? Like I bust my ass all week long so they can live like this, and, right. And, I don't want that. Right. And another reason is it gives me an opportunity to sample other cleaning business services, right? Or other cleaning businesses. So, at any given time, like all of my competitors have cleaned my home at one point or another, whether they knew it was mine or they didn't know it was mine. I have a relationship with one that, I use more often than not. And, she knows me very well, and she has a different business model, and we send her a lot of business. So she'll basically clean my house for free. But, we give her the undesirable clients because she doesn't care about Google reviews. Right. So it's a good relationship. But again, I can get to sample other businesses and see how they operate. And that's always good.
And if you use the solos, you might be able to get some employees out of it.
Well, and the other thing too is,
I was just about to ask that ethically. What do you do when somebody says, "Paul, can I come work for you instead of her?"
Well, and there is that opportunity as well to poach employees, but again, I just for that's just me. That's just the way I am. So.
Yeah, I do have my girls actually clean my own house. And just like last night, we had a bunch of barbecue leftovers. So I sent them home with like 15, their whole meal for the night to go to their family. I'm constantly giving them all this stuff. And then I pay them double of what I would have in a normal house. But I do, I do actually have them clean my house, and I do kind of feel that guilt sometimes, but I'm like, oh, it's my husband. Well, I mean, he is a home builder. So I'm like, it's his fault. He's a home builder. But I think
I
you
do
could do
too.
either or and make it work.
Yeah, I mean, I do too, but I did tell Paul before that when I think we were in Vegas that I'm like, okay, I'm going to stop using them, and I haven't made that switch yet, but it does make a lot of sense, and
Yeah.
it's true that
Yeah.
we are business owners, and yes, we probably make more than they do, and the way that we live is going to be different, but they don't get that.
Well, the other thing
Yeah.
too is,
There's a lot of liability they don't get.
yeah, I know that we're the highest price cleaning service in the area, so I can save money by using somebody else.
Yep.
Interesting. I might have to try that one out for sure. Well, I think we've definitely got away fun vibes. Like, give a fun vibe in your office. Make it a place that people want to work. Also, make them feel protected to where they can be honest about breakage, about a customer who maybe said or solicited them. I think we've got a lot of examples about keeping that employee culture like super close to us and that they're the most important thing. And if you make them the most important thing, all you'll really have to worry about, yes, like I know with Maids and More, and I've heard Paul's, and I'm sure Heather's is the same way. I don't have to advertise for employees. My employees advertise for me. They are constantly bringing in referrals because it's the fun. It's the nice place to work. The people are great. They're protected. All these things that we've been talking about this whole time, they want to work. Like it is a sought out after place. Like you have to make it your differentiator. Like, why would I work at McDonald's versus here? Obviously, you could beat McDonald's, right? I mean, we got that, surely.
Yeah. Well, you know what Heather and I did one year, right?
Oh, I want to hear this.
You tell.
You're always having competitions.
We had kind of a company versus company review, Google review contest. So how long did we go?
I don't know if it was like a month or two, but like the losers had to pay for an outing for the other company, but nobody else knew except for Paul and I that we were all going to be winners. So man, they were like crazy, weren't they? I mean, they were like, he's paying for reviews. He's paying for reviews. He got like 16.
It was wild.
It was fun. We sent out notices like to all of our clients that we were in this duel with this company, in Hoboken. So it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
To get customer reviews on Google?
Yep.
Oh, whole other topic right now. Let's not touch base with that.
Yeah, we don't care about Google reviews.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we pay $500 if anybody refers somebody. So we are paying out on Friday by $250 to the first one, and then they get paid out I think at 30 days and then at 90 days. But we make an announcement to the whole crew that they know that they're getting it paid out. Another company told me they actually pay out cash, so everybody's seeing the cash in the hand. And then we have another girl who just referred 2 people, so her bonus is going to be $1,000.
Nice.
We do $500 as well. We don't actually pay it out until 90 days, but once that referral hits 90 days, we pull out the full $500.
Nice.
We do the same thing. I mean, why pay ads? I mean, there are great ad systems out there. Recruit is great. All of those are great. I'm not saying that you don't need to participate in those, but who is your main recruitment team? You already have them. The same way with marketing. Who is your main recruitment team? Your customers. Who's your main recruitment team for employees? Is your employees.
So one more thing, because I know you're going to want to go to trivia and do other things. So we stole this idea from somebody else. This is not my original idea. So all of our cleaners have their own business card and has their name on it and their position and how long they've been a cleaner for. So if they see, because we all have like these crazy billboard shirts, whatever, and we are all in company logoed vehicles. So when they go out for lunch or they're loading in, if somebody says, hey, can I have a business card? If they mention their business card, they get a bonus. So I don't remember the exact amount, but they can get to $250 per client if it's like a recurring biweekly.
Oh, that's a really good idea. Yeah. Summer, Jazz, are y'all watching that? Gloria,
because
everybody.
Think about it. How many of our people have actually ever had a business card with their name on it? Like, do you know how much pride that goes into that?
That is good. and they're out there promoting for you, and that's your boots on the ground, because it is really hard for 2 boots to get to all those places. But if you already got 28 boots in all these places, you might as well use the boots.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, but grassroots marketing is not dead. As we can see that Google can make any freaking change they want and on any day, like today or yesterday, and delete Google reviews. And who knows, we need to focus. I've been really focused this year on trying to get 20 to 30, 40% out of my business away from Google and independent upon that Google marketing, even though obviously I know that it's a combination of both. So I'm glad you mentioned that. That's a really good idea. Summer was like, noted.
Let me tell you, I know it's another podcast, but Paul and his grassroots and his like crazy marketing strategies are amazing. I know you met.
I know. I've been down there and I'm like, that's genius.
It's great. He's got some great ideas.
Yeah, grassroots marketing is not dead for sure. And we definitely need to have our due diligence in both. But you're right, a whole nother podcast on marketing. But the point of employee culture is that you need to create that loving environment to where people want to be here. People love working for you. It's not a prison. They're not being judged. They're always getting, I think a lot of owners are jumping to conclusions and taking other people's sides when you always need to have the back of your employee before you accuse them or do anything. And I think Paul is that. And then Heather, you have some amazing boots on the ground. That was like my takeaway of the day right there with the business cards. I love it. Because I have a question. Since we're on employee retention, how many cleaners do you have, Paul, if you can just estimate? I know I didn't ask you to prepare a list, but that have been there over 5 years.
Oh, I have employees that I have a half a dozen that have been here over 10 years. We have, I probably have over 20 employees that are here over 5 years. One of the things that we do every year at our holiday party, and our holiday party has really become an event.
A thing.
And, and I'm telling you,
it's like ball gowns.
Yeah. It's like a wedding. The staff looks forward to it every year. And, and even like the DJs and the photographers, they look forward to it. They have such a blast at our event. And we bring in a professional photographer, and it's just, it's a great night. And, I always preface with, this is your party. This is for you, knock yourselves out, have a good time, be safe. Anybody needs an Uber, we'll get you an Uber home, whatever you need. And, but one of the things we do there is we award employee of the year, we award team of the year, right? And, we have these beautiful plaques, and what we've started doing is we have parties now and events for 10-year celebrations. People that have been with us 10 years, and same deal. So they get a $500 check, they get a nice plaque, a party, and it's just fun. It's a good night, a good time.
You're tracking in that you care and your recognition. I think I've read a study somewhere, and I could quote it if I remembered it, but I'm off the cuff today, that employees would take recognition and a pat on the back and a hug over a pay raise or a bonus.
I believe in that. 100%. I have one employee that, so she said to our field supervisor recently, she said, even if Paul fired me, I wouldn't stop coming here.
I did. I wanted to throw in some bones when I was there. I was like, anybody know how to play? I was like, let's go. It's just such a family environment. And Heather, I need to make I actually was there before I even knew you, and I should have made an office visit. My kid had a baseball tournament.
Can I just add one more thing? Because I've known Paul for several years, and every year he has done like this huge Christmas thing. And like I said earlier, like this was the first time. You can easily drop 20 grand on a Christmas party.
Oh.
Like if you want to do it right, like we went to a restaurant, we did the decorations, all the prizes. Who's got 20 grand just to kind of be like, ooh, at Christmas, and say, okay, here's 20 grand. But it is February 11th. So if anybody knows Profit First, start another account. put 250 a week because you can afford 250 a week or whatever you need. Like if you want to budget it out, break it out into how many more weeks are left in the year and just dump that. Transfer that money into that account, because then come December, you're going to have the money to be able to do these things. Or if you even want to go bigger, let's say you don't have a fund. You're like, oh, how do I do this? How do I even do all these fun things? Because there are some companies that don't have a huge budget. Then whatever you want to do, like it's so easy to do it if you do it in small steps rather than just waiting until December 1st and not having the money to do it.
Let me ask you something, Heather.
I do that too.
How good did you feel after that party?
Fucking amazing. I'm sorry, I had to drop an F-bomb because that's my signature. It was awesome. Like, let me tell you what, we have a lot of drama. We have a lot of people from a lot of different countries here. Thank you. And sometimes they don't get along very well, so there's a lot of like crazy drama. Watching them do the prizes was so amazing because they were cheering each other on. Like after everybody got, and they all picked their own gift, so there was like no blame as to who got what because it was 100% on them. It was just really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Christmas parties are where we really, and we actually do set aside. We have a 200. I have two different funds. I have an employee retention fund, or a cleaner retention fund, and a management retention fund. And every month we budget a certain amount of money that goes into that fund. And then at the end of the year, when the managers hit their numbers and their goals, we go on a trip. We're like, I think we're set to hit 10 million this year. So we're going to Hawaii. We hit our 8 million goal this year. So we're going to like this awesome ranch in Texas and going on this safari type thing. That's for management. And then for the Christmas party is the same thing. We got a DJ. We got all of it. We got the margaritas. We got the Ubers. We're dancing. It's a ball. I haven't missed it in 17 years. It's a whole lot of fun.
Now that I've started it, now that I've done the first one, like we've done other things.
Done. You got to keep going.
Well, you have to keep going because now everybody's going to look forward to it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's what we're here for. Does anybody have any last minute questions? I'm going to embarrass Heather and Paul with some Valentine's Day trivia if they are willing to be victims of my entertainment.
Oh boy.
I know nothing about Valentine's Day. VD.
All right, here we go. I'm going to remove us from the stage. I'm going to put the question up, play a little bit of trivia music. When you know the answer, hold it up. A, B, C, or D. Do you have like a sticky note or a piece of paper anywhere near you?
Sure.
Okay.
We were not prepared for this.
I know nobody's ever prepared, but just like this is a perfect example. When I do a podcast, I don't want it to be boring. I want you to have useful information. I want you to have fun while you're listening. I don't want it to just be all this chatty chats that doesn't really mean anything. And then at the end, I want to have some fun. This is a perfect example of ending a staff meeting with something fun where they can all walk away with a positive note. Always walk away with a positive note. So I'm looking forward. A, B, C, or D. Okay. I'm looking forward to Paul's answers on this.
Oh, oh boy.
Okay, here we go. Woo! Let me find my trivia music. It has to have the trivia music. Here it is. Okay. All right. What do we got? A, 185. C, Japan. Oh, I'm sorry. C was what? Sorry.
Like, I don't know, like $40 or something. I don't even know what I'm going to do.
And Paul is actually right. Wow. 185 was the answer.
Woo!
Way to go. Okay,
All
here
right.
we go.
All right.
Are we ready? Second answer, and then we've got 4, and then we have a tiebreaker. Here we go.
All right.
I gotta change it.
Okay. I want to say C, but I had to go with A because I'm in Jupiter.
I said C.
It is actually B, Mars and Venus.
Oh.
So I've got 1-0. All right, here we go. Third one. Here we go. Oh, let me turn my script music off.
Paul, are you Googling these answers?
No, I wish I
Not-
could.
Okay, y'all are both wrong. It is D. Japan is actually where the whole chocolate tradition came from.
Wow.
Okay.
Who'd have figured?
All right. Got it. Heather, come on. Girl power. Let's go.
I'm trying, girl.
All right, what we got?
Okay, I'll text you the answer. I'm just Y'all need more time?
Check. Let me check.
No, go going.
Oh!
I'm not a cheater. Okay. The answer is A. Y'all both lost. Okay,
What,
let's
Diana Ross over Whitney Houston? This is all BS.
Google.
My favorite
Hey, let's-
episode of Friends was when they did the trivia and they don't blame the questions.
It wasn't Whitney Houston?
I know.
No, endless love.
Oh.
I know.
She texted me D. I don't know what to say.
I didn't text you. I don't like cheaters. But I feel like we need a double or nothing tiebreaker. So this is closest to. So we've got Paul has 1 point. This one's worth 2. So whoever wins this one is it. You ready?
Okay.
Yeah.
Closest to. Okay, let me play my music. Remove y'all.
Heather, don't cheat.
I'm never going to be invited back.
What's your percentage?
Well, I think this is a bullshit question.
I agree.
Because how are they gauging? So many people don't even buy anything.
What did you say?
Oh.
5%?
54.
54. Wow.
It was 56.
56.
So that was like a tie. Did you win?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Those are 54.
Okay, wait. What did you get? What'd you get your girlfriend for Valentine's Day, Paul?
She might be watching.
Heather,
Heather,
was
watch
your
it. She
husband?
sees your mug every day.
So I was in Rome the last couple of days, so I got her something from Rome.
Mm.
Oh,
She'll,
well,
she'll
Paul.
share it with you.
Well, damn, that one might have just hit the winner's circle. What did you get, Heather?
VD.
Nothing. VD. Give it a VD. That's it. That's right, Paul. Thank you. So much better.
Reminder that we need to take care of our loved ones just as good as our family is also our employees because they have to deal with this. And I honestly believe that you treat your family the same way that you treat your employees. And that's the most important thing about this Valentine's Day message and this podcast is that your extended family is your employees. And honestly, I treat them no different than I do my own children. And I treat all of my management no different than I do my husband or significant other. Like we're in this together. And I think that's the main point we need to get from this employee culture podcast. Does anyone have any questions before we sign out? When in Rome. Summer says when in Rome. You deserve said 75%. And then Summer says, I have a deal with Holly Moore. Oh, yeah. So every year, this is cheesy, and I'm just going to bring it up because Summer brought it up. So every year we do a management retreat. When they hit their goals from the year previous, we do a management retreat, and they love this the most. Like, we could go to the beach, we could do all these things, but the thing they look forward to the most is I take a card and I spend about 30 minutes a piece on each one of them, and I hand write out what they did the year and how proud of them I am. And every single one of them is so embarrassing for me because I'm like a personal, like, I don't show my feelings very often. I'm the fun girl. And so they all have them pinned on their pin, like on their desks, like
Everybody to see.
of that stuff up there about those cheesy comments, because they know they're hard for me to give every year, and they make me write them, and all of them are sitting here coming 100%, 100%, 100%. So write your staff thank you notes when you can. Make a special time of year when you do that. It's really important. Nobody needs big trips. Nobody needs big bonuses. They need to know that you've noticed them and that you care.
I have spent all day cutting out hearts out of my Cricut, and we have little boxes. So everybody's going to get little Valentines in their little boxes.
Oh,
I know. How cute.
I know.
Just like kindergarten.
Exactly. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed the podcast. TCS is all about just advocating for the residential cleaning industry. We are a CRM system. If you haven't checked us out, schedule a demo. But we are literally here for an educational piece to educate and empower the residential cleaning industry. I want to see all of our friends and everybody in the industry succeed. And that's the most important.
Love that.
Mm-hmm. No, if you are unselfish and you are genuine, good things will come. And so your employees should know that, as well as the rest of the residential cleaning industry. And I just love it. Y'all are my two favorites. When I put this one together, I was like, woohoo, we're going to have fun.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Holly.
Yeah.
And
No problem.
Always a pleasure to do it with Heather.
All right. Well, y'all stay on so I can give you your talk with y'all after we're done. But we're ending live. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a great day.
Bye.